My best friend landed a dirt-cheap travel tour, 3 days and 6 nights, for only 300 yuan. I didn't trust it. I warned her she should cancel, but she insisted I was just jealous. My boyfriend used his connections to get me this special price. You don't have a boyfriend to get you deals, so why try to stop me? A week later, she told me she'd be coming back by coach and asked me to pick her up at night, way out in the suburbs. I went, never expecting that the car would take me straight to some remote, desolate village. My best friend smiled sweetly at the villagers, trying to please them. I told you, didn't I? If I bring you one person, you'll let me go. I'll keep introducing more people to you. I was locked in a pigsty, 3 years, 7 miscarriages. In the end, I died miserably in some underground cellar. As for her, she went back to the city, became a link in a trafficking ring, luring countless girls and children. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the very day she'd asked me to pick her up. Chen Yue, I'm back from my trip. Come pick me up in the suburbs tonight. Her familiar commanding voice rang through the phone. I clenched my fist. In my past life, Lin had done the exact same thing, asked me for a ride, but in reality, she'd been pushing me straight into hell. I took a deep breath, forced myself to act innocent, and asked, "Why do you want me to pick you up? Where's your boyfriend, Ju Ding? Where did he go?" Lin's annoyance was obvious. "Chen Yue, he's my boyfriend. Why are you asking about him? Don't tell me you're so desperate that you want to steal someone else's man. I'm your best friend, you know. Never mind, I'll send you the address. 8 o'clock tonight. Don't be late." Best friend. I should really thank her for being so considerate. Whenever there's something good, she never thinks of me. But when there's a pit to fall into, she pushes me in first. I didn't want to listen to her any longer. I hung up decisively. In my previous life, I hadn't suspected anything. I went to pick her up in the suburbs as she asked. But when I arrived, I only saw a van and a strange man waiting there. Right then, I felt something was off and tried to turn around and leave. But suddenly, 5 or 6 men jumped out of the van, dragged me inside, and drove me straight to that remote village. When they shoved me out of the car, I saw Lin, smiling ingratiatingly, saying, "You promised. If I bring you someone, you'll let me go. From now on, for every person I bring, I get 3 shares, just like we agreed." I was frozen, repeatedly asking Lin why she would do this to me. She just gave me a contemptuous glare, pulled her suitcase, and walked away. Before leaving, she told the villagers to strip me and throw me into the pigsty, so I couldn't run. She forced me to a dead end, living like an animal with no dignity left. And Lin became a lackey for the devils, joining the trafficking ring, selling off hundreds of women and children. Thank heavens I got a second chance, sent back to the very day she meant to betray me. This life, I'll make her pay, blood for blood. That night, Lin called me again and again, urging me to leave the house. "Why aren't you leaving yet? Are you trying to stand me up? Are you messing with me? Chen Yue, I'm giving you 3 minutes to get out the door, or don't blame me if I'm not nice. You think I'd let you live in peace?" I answered calmly. "Don't worry, how could I stand you up? You're my best friend after all. But I'm waiting for someone, and soon we'll come pick you up together." Lin started to panic, immediately questioning, "Who are you waiting for? A man or a woman? Chen Yue, with your boring personality, who else would even want to be your friend? Just come by yourself, don't drag anyone else into this." As Lin panicked, desperately trying to stop me, I received a message from Chuzi. Only then did I feel at ease leaving the house. "Just wait, Lin. This time I'll make sure you suffer, a fate worse than death." When I arrived at the spot Lin had sent me, there was no sign of her. Not even the minibus from my previous life appeared. I glanced at the car next to me, its police lights flashing red and blue, then smiled and called Lin. "Hello, didn't you say you were here already? I don't see you anywhere." Lin, don't tell me you're playing some kind of joke on me." There was silence on the other end for a long while, until I heard Lin suddenly scream in terror. I waited a few more minutes, listening as her cries slowly faded. Then, putting on a tone of concern, I asked, Lin, are you okay? Did something happen? This time, there was nothing but silence, though the call hadn't disconnected. I paused, glancing in the direction the man beside me was pointing. In the tall grass, nearly 3 meters high, I could just make out a black car. I see now, I said, struggling not to laugh, then called out loudly, I think I hear you, Lin. What are you doing hiding in those weeds? Wait there, we'll drive over to get you. Before I could finish, Lin frantically interrupted, her voice trembling. No, don't. Please, I'm just dealing with something. You just wait there. I'll come right over. Not long after, Lin emerged, face swollen and red, staggering over to us. She glared at the man next to me, then at the flashing police lights. And finally, all her fury landed squarely on me. Chen Yue, I asked you to pick me up. Who said you could call the police? What, are you afraid I'd hurt you? I'm your best friend, aren't I? Is that really what you think of me? Do you know what you've done? She trailed off, swallowing hard, sneaking glances back at the grass she'd just come out of. Feigning innocence, I replied. What have I done to you, Lin? She shot me a look, snapping, That's not the point. Why did you bring the police? I couldn't help but laugh. Well, I was thinking about your safety. Look at this place. It's remote and dark. What if something bad happened? Chutzi was free tonight, and since he's a police officer, he just gave me a ride. I narrowed my eyes, asking deliberately, Why are you so sensitive about the police, Lin? Don't tell me you're up to something shady. Lin instantly became flustered, angrily denying, Who's up to something shady? I just didn't want to trouble the police, that's all. I nodded and turned to get in the car. All right, then let's go. But Lin didn't budge, just stood there, feet rooted, eyes darting nervously behind her. I couldn't hold back a chuckle. What now? Is she planning to pull the same old trick, trying to kidnap me right in front of the police? I got into the car, honked the horn once. Lin, what are you waiting for? Weren't you the one who said time was tight? If you don't get in, I'll leave first. Chutzi still has to get back to the station. Lin bit her lip, stomped her foot in frustration, shot another glance behind her, then finally, grudgingly, walked toward the car. Chen Yue, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and open the door for me. I'm clean. I can't touch anything dirty. I replied unhurriedly. But Lin, look at yourself, covered in bruises and mud. You call that clean? Honestly, I'm more worried you'll dirty up Chutzi's car than mine. Back then, Lin always tried to act like some neat freak, refused to touch this or that, always made me open doors, wipe down seats, carry her bags. I used to think, we're friends. No need to nitpick. But looking back, what kind of friend was that? Clearly, she just saw me as her servant. And now, if she can get in, fine. If not, too bad. Seeing me relaxed in the passenger seat, yawning, Lin tried to keep it together and continued. Chen Yue, I'm not feeling well. Hurry up and come open the door for me. I glanced behind her. Several men were using the darkness to quietly approach, clearly just waiting for Lin to lure me out of the car before they made their move. Unfortunately for them, all it took was a subtle gesture from me, and Chutzi was already frowning, speaking up impatiently. This place looks awfully familiar. Last week I shot a criminal here. His blood splattered all over my car. Come to think of it, this car's not exactly clean. If you're that picky, you might as well walk home. With that, he made as if he was really about to drive away. Lin's face turned pale. She reluctantly climbed into the car. From the moment she got in, Lin kept her head down, furiously texting on her phone. I glanced in the rearview mirror. There was a car quietly tailing us. Turning back to Lin, I called out deliberately, Hey Lin, why do you look so pale? Who are you texting so nervously? By the way, where's your suitcase? She immediately snapped. What's it to you? Mind your own business, would you? I'm tired. Can't you just be quiet for a while? I didn't take offense, just explained gently. I'm only worried about you. Look at you. Your face is swollen. Your clothes are all muddy. Did something happen? Chuzi is a police officer. If there's a problem, you can just tell him. Lin flinched, eyes darting to her phone screen, stammering, No, I'm fine. Nothing happened to me. I'm really fine. Was she? I'd just set up a camera behind the seat. It was clear from the footage that she was getting threatening messages on WeChat, one after another. She'd led herself straight into disaster. Of course, I had no reason to stop her. Bringing Chuzi with me wasn't about saving her, it was to protect myself. And it was a warning, to her, and to those behind her. I have friends in the police. Don't even think about messing with me. If they couldn't get me, they'd just move on to another target. And Lin was the perfect next victim. As for what came next, Chuzi and his colleagues were already prepared for a long-term stakeout. The car behind us kept following at a steady distance. I judged the timing, then told Chuzi to pull over. Lin instantly looked up, alert, glancing nervously around. Why are we stopping? We're here. Lin, get out. Call yourself a rideshare to get home. Her face fell. You came to pick me up. Why won't you take me home? It's not on our way. Your place is on the north side of the city. We're heading south. Detouring for you is too far. Besides, we're not that far from your place. A ride will take less than 10 minutes. But the real reason was simple. If I didn't let her out here, how would those men from the village have a chance to snatch her? Chuzi nodded, adding, Hurry up, I have to get back to the station. With the car belonging to a police officer, and with Chuzi insisting, Lin could only swallow her anger and get out. Still, she didn't seem ready to give up. She turned back and said, Chen Yue, don't go home for the next 2 nights, okay? Come stay over at my place. We haven't had a sleepover in ages. This time, before she could finish, I pressed the window button and rolled the glass up. Right after, Chuzi hit the gas and the car sped off. In the rearview mirror, I saw Lin stomp her feet in anger. And the car that had been following us pulled up right beside her. Chuzi saw it too. He quickly turned off the police lights, circled around a long block, then parked at the end of the street, not far from where Lin had gotten out. When we arrived, we saw a man pinning Lin to the ground, beating her savagely. That man was none other than her boyfriend, Juding. He rained blows down on her, cursing non-stop. You worthless bitch, you dare lie to me. You told your best friend to call the cops. Sick of living, are you? 7 days in that village weren't enough for you? Now you still want to rebel? Fine, if you won't listen, just wait and see. I'll let the whole village take turns teaching you a lesson. Lin burst into tears, sobbing and begging, Honey, please don't hit me, please. I didn't do anything, I swear I didn't tell anyone. You heard what I said in the car. I never said a word to them. Please don't take me back there. I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Just don't make me go back. I have a way. I swear I can still trick Chen Yue into coming. Juding sneered, then slapped her hard again. A way? Bullshit. What kind of way could you possibly have? From the very start, you were my target. I don't know what you did to put a spell on those villagers, to make them believe you'd willingly help us traffic people, but don't think you can fool me. Chuzi pressed his lips together, casting a heavy glance at me. I understood what that look meant. At first, when I told him my so-called best friend might be plotting to sell me, he'd been half skeptical. After all, I had no evidence. But now, the evidence was falling right into his hands. Lin, trembling, crawled up and kowtowed before Juding. Please, honey, I really do have a way. I mean it. Just trust me. I already told you, Chen Yue is rich. Her parents both remarried. Neither of them care about her. She doesn't have many friends. Even if she dies, no one would care. But what about that cop? What's with him? Lin froze, stammering. I didn't know about him. She never told me she had a friend in the police. But trust me, honey, I have a plan. I've already managed to drive away all her other friends before. This time will be no different. I can do it again. All the while, Chuzi stood nearby, recording everything with a cold, determined face. He tugged at my arm and led me away. We can't act rashly yet. I'll report this immediately. If we keep a close watch, maybe we can wipe out the whole network. Chen Yue, you have to be careful these days. Don't go out on your own. If Lin Lin contacts you, tell me right away. Understand? His brow was furrowed, still not satisfied with my safety, and he added, Never mind. I'll rent a place near your neighborhood for the next few days, just to keep you safe. I glanced off into the distance, seeing Lin Lin being dragged into a car by Zhu Ding. Turning back, I smiled at Chuzi. There's no need for all that trouble. You should focus on your work. I was planning to take a trip anyway. Now's the perfect time to leave for a few days, so they won't be able to find me. Don't worry about me. Truthfully, I wasn't surprised by Lin Lin and Zhu Ding's intentions. After all, in my previous life, after I was kidnapped, those two had even come back to the village to check in on me, acting all concerned. Chen Yue, you really should thank me, you know. If it wasn't for my friendship, I'd never have bothered. With your broken family, no dad, no mom, not even a boyfriend, where would you be now? All the men in the village love you. Honestly, I never understood why you, someone even your parents didn't care about, could be so lucky. Do you really think anyone likes you? I could sell 10 women and still not make as much as selling you once. But now I get it. Seeing you live like an animal, that's what really makes me happy. That was when I finally understood. Why all my old friends drifted away from me. Why one day we'd be laughing together, and the next their boyfriends would suddenly dump me, cruel and cold. So it was all Lin Lin's doing, manipulating things behind my back. She kept messing with my head, making me think I was worthless, so I'd be dependent on her alone. And when the time was right, she never hesitated to push me into the trap. But there's one thing Lin Lin never knew. After my parents remarried and barely contacted me anymore, it was Chuzi, my stepbrother, who treated me best. In my past life, after I died, it was Chuzi who spent 10 years destroying the trafficking ring and avenging me. After getting home, I didn't dare waste a single second. I quickly packed my bags and called a taxi straight to the airport. From the look on Zhu Ding's face, I knew. Tonight, all he'd care about was dealing with Lin Lin. He wouldn't have time to set any more traps for me. Leaving now was my best choice. I sat at the airport all night, waiting until morning to board my flight overseas. The moment I landed, my phone rang. It was Lin Lin. But this time, her voice had lost all that arrogance. She was trembling as she spoke. Chen Yue, are you up? Can I stay with you for a few days? I'm already outside your place. Come open the door. I fought with Zhu Ding. I don't want to see him for a while. I stayed silent for a moment, quietly switching on my security camera. Immediately, I saw Zhu Ding glaring furiously at Lin Lin, pressing something against her neck. Huh, what a dramatic scene. Watching this, I couldn't help but feel satisfied. Honestly, it still felt far too easy on Lin Lin. She deserved to suffer even more. I actually wanted to see her fail to sell me out, only to be betrayed and sold by Zhu Ding himself. Holding back my amusement, I spoke with feigned regret. Oh, I already left for a trip. I'm not home right now. If you really need somewhere to stay, maybe book a hotel nearby. What? When did you leave? Why didn't you tell me? I couldn't help but laugh, replying bluntly, Are you my mother or something? Why do I need to report my whereabouts to you? Anyway, nothing important. I'm hanging up now. I'm busy. After hanging up, I glanced back at the camera feed. Lin Lin was fuming, her face twisted with anger as she banged on the door. Beside her, Zhu Ding's patience snapped. He punched Lin Lin hard in the stomach. What are you doing? Are you trying to stall for time? If you can't deal with Chen Yue, then just get lost. Selling you is still worth something, and it won't stop me from finding my next target. Lin Lin sobbed in terror, begging and pleading. After a while, she suddenly remembered something and got down on the ground to search. Soon she found my spare key, trembling as she tried to open the door. But she couldn't. She had no idea that before I left, I'd changed all the locks and told building management to detain any strangers near my place. Sure enough, not long after, the manager showed up and questioned them. Both of them ran off in a panic. For the next few days, Lin kept trying to call me. Finally, she got so furious she sent me a 99-message rant full of curses. When I saw that, I just got bored and blocked her. Suddenly, the world felt wonderfully quiet. After more than a month of travel, I finally remembered to check up on Lin and Juding. But to my surprise, for the entire month, they'd made no move at all. It was as if they'd decided not to target anyone else. Not until they managed to catch me. Realizing this, I immediately bought a ticket home. If they wanted to play, I'd play with them. I removed Lin from my block list and set up a meeting with her. After a month apart, Lin looked haggard and exhausted. Just watching her try to put on a brave face, I could guess the hell she'd been through lately. But what I really wanted to know was, how had this blindly infatuated girl managed to convince Juding to obediently wait for me to return for a whole month? Too bad. I still had to act like I knew nothing. I cleared my throat, pretending to care, as I gently took her hand. Lin, what happened to you? You look so worn out. Has Juding been treating you badly? I warned you, Lin. Juding is a schemer. He's not. I didn't even finish my sentence before Lin, as if she'd been waiting for it, shoved me away in anger. Shut your mouth. You're disgusting. What right do you have to talk bad about Juding? You're just jealous of me because I have a good boyfriend. Always trying to stir up trouble, trying to steal him from me, aren't you? She glared at me with utter contempt, clutching her own hair in frustration. So annoying. Why is everything such a mess now? It was never like this before. This is all your fault. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have to live like this. By now, I should be a rich woman already. Lin's words struck me as odd. Rich already? Could it be that she had been reborn too? If so, it wouldn't surprise me. Armed with memories of her previous life, she could easily say a few things that hadn't happened yet, and trick Juding. I gave a cold smile, cutting straight to the point. Lin, I really don't understand what you're talking about, but it doesn't matter. I asked to meet today because I wanted to know, does that tour you went on before still have any discounts? I saw some pictures and thought it looked nice. I'd like to try it. Lin stared, then suddenly burst out laughing. I knew it. How could I be wrong? In the end, fortune is finally on my side. Of course there's still a deal. Whenever you're free, I'll go with you. I smiled lightly, nodding, telling her, the sooner the better. The sooner it happens, the sooner I'll get to see her fate unfold. She thinks fate is on her side? I think fate just wants to see this play turn into a tragedy, so she can live another life and suffer even more. Lin moved quickly to arrange everything. On the appointed day, she called me almost every 5 minutes to check my schedule. The day before, she even made up an excuse, saying she wanted to sleep over at my place. To avoid her, I told her Chuzi had just moved in across the hall and that we'd be having dinner together that evening. Hearing this, Lin immediately found a reason not to come. At the scheduled time, Lin called again. Chen Yue, why aren't you here yet? Weren't you supposed to wait at the traffic light intersection? Leisurely sipping my milk tea, I replied, Sorry, I just got a call. Something's come up and I can't make it. You go ahead, I'll pay you the 300 yuan for the trip. Take Juding with you for company, okay? On the other end, Lin instantly panicked. Are you kidding? I already booked a special tour guide just for you. You can't just say you're not coming. Everyone's waiting on you. Don't you feel bad? It's not like I'm not paying, so what's there to feel bad about? They get paid for doing nothing. They should be happy, right? Anyway, I have another call. Talk later, bye. I hung up, smiling as I gazed out the window. Across the street, I could see Lin raging, kicking and stomping in frustration. Not long after, a bus pulled up. A group of people got off and surrounded Lin. Last time when I brought Chuzi, those villagers definitely weren't pleased with her. Now, after all this time, they'd finally seized their chance, only to end up empty-handed again. Looks like this time, Lin won't be able to escape. More than 10 days later, I finally called Juding to ask about Lin. Juding, did you and Lin take a trip somewhere? I haven't been able to reach her for ages. Last time she went out, she kept sending me photos. Even her colleagues contacted me, saying she didn't request leave, but has vanished. Did you two have a fight again? Juding barely cared. How would I know? She's got hands and feet. She can go wherever she wants. I'm not her babysitter. How am I supposed to know everything she does? Just hearing my voice seemed to irritate him. Annoying. You always manage to get away, don't you? Don't contact me again. Lin and I already broke up. He hung up, but I could still hear his heavy breathing. Clearly, he'd already found a new target long ago. No wonder he'd been willing to cooperate with Lin to stall for so long. I quietly found his account and sent a message. Sorry, I didn't know you two had broken up. Lin once borrowed 200,000 from me. I was just about to pay her back, but I can't reach her. Sure enough, Juding replied almost instantly, telling me to transfer the money to him instead. I was about to write a long message just to annoy him when Juding suddenly called, sounding urgent. Hey, Chen Yue, just go ahead and transfer the 200,000 to me. I struggled to keep from laughing, hesitating. But didn't you two break up? Why would I give her ex-boyfriend the money? Forget it. I'll get in touch with her myself, he rushed, then lowered his voice. You won't be able to reach her. What's that supposed to mean? Juding scoffed. What else could it mean? She doesn't want to talk to you. She's been fed up with you for a long time, always saying you hold her back. She's complained about you to me more than once. After you left her hanging last time, of course she doesn't want to deal with you anymore. But you still have to pay her back. Just transfer it to me. I'll let her know. I listened as Juding rambled on, then finally transferred the money to him. The moment he got the money, the call ended. When I called back, his phone was already switched off. So fast. He was probably rushing to find Lin, eager to show off his winnings. That's perfect. Now I could report him to the police for scamming me out of my money. 2 hours later, Chuzu sent me a message. They'd already arrested him in the village, and the funds had been fully returned to my account. The arrest, it turned out, was a lucky break, unrelated to my tip. Of course, I didn't forget to ask about Lin. When Chuzi told me, he paused for a long time before speaking, his voice flat and dry. When they found Lin, she was completely covered in human filth, crawling in a pigsty, fighting the pigs for scraps. It was an even more miserable fate than I'd suffered in my previous life. I waited a few days, until I was sure the stench had faded, then finally went to the hospital to visit my dear friend. But I didn't expect to find Lin wrapped head to toe in bandages, looking like a mummy. When I asked the nurse, she told me Lin's skin had rotted so badly, the doctors could only cut it away and begin treatment. They'd have to wait until the infection was gone before they could attempt a skin graft. The nurse, thinking we were close friends, tried to comfort me. Don't worry, with modern medicine, she won't be in any real danger. She might not recover her looks, but living is still better than the alternative, right? I smiled, walking straight into the room. Live? Fine. Let her live. Let her live with the pain. That's far more satisfying than letting her die quickly. I knocked. Lin turned her head from the hospital bed. The moment she saw me, her eyes filled with hatred. She slammed her hands on the bed, screaming in agony. It's all your fault. Everything is your fault. You're a jinx. You did this to me. Why? Why? You should be the one suffering, not me. This is wrong. It's all wrong. It shouldn't be like this. I explained quietly to the nurse, then sat down on the sofa across from her. But Lin only grew more agitated, writhing on the bed like a trapped worm. The nurse, worried she'd tear her wounds open, called for the doctor again. They had to tie her down and give her a sedative. I even overheard the doctors discussing whether they should transfer her to the psychiatric ward. Given what she'd been through and the strange things she was saying, it would make sense if she'd lost her mind. Of course, I couldn't admit that I understood every word Lin said, so I simply stayed silent. Once the doctors finished and left, Lin was forced into a bitter, unnatural calm. I looked at her thin, shriveled body and couldn't help but laugh. Lin, are you trying to say that I should have been the one kidnapped, the one abused by a group of men, while you would have been their accomplice? You keep saying everything's wrong, but have you ever thought that maybe, from the very beginning, the person who was wrong was you? Lin's pupils shook, staring at me in disbelief. You? But I couldn't be bothered to listen to her anymore. I spoke over her, my voice cold and steady. From the start, you made the choice to drag me down with you. You used an excuse to ask me to meet you, then tricked me into that remote village. You wanted to steal everything from me, stand on top of the world, shamelessly sucking the life out of me. What you're suffering now, that's just karma. What right do you have to shout at me? You're just someone who got reborn, not a god. What makes you so sure of yourself? Do you really think I'd let you fool me again, like in the last life? Lin trembled all over, forcing herself to raise a finger at me. Why did you? She couldn't even finish her sentence. I already understood. She wanted to ask when I was reborn too. But I had no intention of answering that question. I wanted her to spend the rest of her life trapped in confusion and madness. I shot her a cold glare, then walked closer to the bed. Only then did I notice her face, sunken and riddled with scars. Looks like they were really furious with her. How many miscarriages have you had in these past 3 months? Does the despair make you want to die? Does it feel good, Lin? Remember that feeling. Because everything you've suffered in the last 2 weeks, I endured for 3 whole years. I smiled, then suddenly reached out and squeezed her throat, watching her face turn red before letting go at the last moment. Lin gasped desperately for air, taking a long time to glare back at me in anger. What, you want me to thank you now? So you suffered for 3 years. So what? You deserved it. I'm nothing like you. I have a boyfriend. You're just some useless woman who doesn't even know how to seduce a man. If I hadn't been nice enough to set you up with a boyfriend, you'd be a lonely, unwanted spinster forever. I laughed. I never thought Lin would be the type to obsess over love. That's right. If any normal girl had been tricked by her boyfriend into a remote village, barely escaped with her life, she would have broken up and called the police. But not Lin. She chose to cover for the mastermind, Zhu Ding, and was willing to work for him. What a fool. She was hopelessly in love. I leaned in, lowering my voice by her ear. What was that? You say you have a boyfriend? You mean Zhu Ding, the one who beat you? The one who held a knife to your throat? Really, Lin? She scoffed in contempt. What do you know? He loves me. If he didn't love me, why would he only treat me this way, and not you? You just don't understand. You're jealous of me, that's all. At this point, I was sure. She belonged in the psych ward. Why would I ever envy someone who earned her own money just to support a man, while pretending to be his beloved wife? I silently glared at her, then remembered the news I'd heard just a few days ago, and grinned. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. The whole gang, including Zhu Ding, has been arrested. When they caught him, he was busy flirting with another woman. But all of them told the police you were crazy, that you forced them into everything. I heard Zhu Ding kept bad-mouthing you, saying you were nothing but a homewrecker, that he was planning to throw you away. I wasn't lying. Zhu Ding really had said those things. Loudly. Of course the police didn't believe a word those fools said. There was already more than enough evidence against them. None of them would escape justice. But Lin, stuck in her own fantasies, didn't believe a word. She kept on defending her so-called true love. I didn't bother arguing anymore. After all, she wasn't going anywhere. She couldn't leave the hospital for a long time, and there was a TV in her room. I told the nurse to keep the TV on for her, especially when the news about Zhu Ding's arrest played on repeat. Their case was big enough to shock the public. Because of their arrests, police were able to break up 3 separate human trafficking rings and rescue over 70 victims. And because they were stopped early, so many girls who would have died tragically in the mountains in my last life were now living happily with their families. The case drew huge attention online, even trending on a few hot search topics. Lin, as one of the few surviving victims, was flooded with interview requests from the media. But during those interviews, she tried to defend Zhu Ding, almost like she had Stockholm Syndrome. Of course, netizens had zero sympathy for her condition. Every time they cursed out Zhu Ding, they made sure to curse out this bizarre girl as well. Didn't Lin always think I had nothing better to do? Well, now I made a point of visiting the hospital every day, rain or shine, just to read her the latest insults and comments people posted about her online. Every time she screamed and pounded the bed in rage, I would pause, savoring the sight of her collapse, her utter despair. But after all this time, her mind truly seemed to be breaking down. She'd mutter strange details about her trafficking crimes from her previous life. I recorded every word and handed them over to Chuzi. If saving even one person from trafficking is a good deed, then I was glad to do it. So I kept up this routine for over 3 months. With each case, Chuzi cracked, and each promotion he earned, Zhu Ding's trial drew to a close. Zhu Ding and several ringleaders were sentenced to death. Most of the rest got life in prison. I'd planned to visit the hospital and tell Lin the good news. But instead, I got a call from Chuzi. He told me Lin had jumped off the building. She left a letter for me. I opened it and couldn't help but laugh. Lin hadn't written a long message, just a single clear sentence. This time I'll be reborn before you. Chen Yue, just wait. I'll kill you. So, she really believed she'd been reborn later than I was, and now wanted to get ahead by dying first. Still dreaming, even at the very end. Not a shred of regret. Strangely enough, it was Zhu Ding who kept asking to see me, to apologize. But his apology was almost amusing. He blamed everything on Lin. I'm sorry, Chen Yue. I'm truly innocent. I never meant to hurt you. Why did you come here alone? Where's your boyfriend? Where did he go? Don't you have a friend who's a police officer? Help me. Beg him to get my sentence reduced, please. I looked at him with contempt, wondering if his brain had rotted after so long in prison. A born criminal, someone who thought the law didn't apply to him. But whatever. He'd be dead soon. There was no point arguing anymore. I ignored his pleas, stood up, and walked out. If sacrificing one Lin was all it took to catch this nest of trash, then it was worth every bit. The moment I stepped out of the prison, Chuzi handed me an umbrella. Snow was falling. It was the first snow of the year. I nodded, walked briskly into the street, letting the snow settle on my shoulders. There's no winter that can't be overcome. No spring that won't come. In the end, everything was all right.